Hello, and we're going to continue talking about the Salesforce integration and setup for PhoneBurner. And more specifically, we're talking about adding the option to initiate a PhoneBurner dial session to a custom object that you may have created in your Salesforce org. And what I want to talk about on this specific training is related to custom fields. So if you've been watching all of the other training videos, then you know that the leads and contacts objects in Salesforce include 3 fields out of the box: number of attempted calls, last attempt date and time, and last disposition. So these are custom fields that come as part of the PhoneBurner package. And when you have a custom object, obviously these fields will not be part of the PhoneBurner package, but I would recommend that you create fields like these so that you can start to track this specific information and use it to filter your list within Salesforce. And so what I want to do right now is I want to show you how to create those custom fields. Hopefully you already know how to create custom fields, but if not, we're going to do that right now. We're going to create these 3 custom fields on a custom object. So we're going to click on Setup. From Setup, we're going to go to the Object Manager, and we're going to search for the object that we want to add those fields to. In our specific example here, we're going to look for our property object. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And I'm going to click on Fields and Relationships. And we're going to click on New. Now real quickly, there are lots of different field types that you can create in Salesforce, but these are very specifically 3 options. We got a number field, a numeric field, a date and time field, and a text field. So let's start with the number of attempted calls. So we're going to create a new number field. And we can obviously call this whatever we want. Just name it number of calls. Length, obviously you probably don't need it to be as high as 18 characters or digits long, but doesn't matter anyway. We can just leave it set that way. You can add a description or some helper text. And let's go ahead and click Next. I'm not going to worry about making any changes here. We're going to go ahead and hit Next. And I'm going to add it to the layout, so I'm going to click Save and New. In this case, I'm doing Save and New because I want to create an additional field. In this case, we're going to move on to the last attempt, date and time. So we want to choose for the field type, date and time. Go Next. I'll name this one Last Call, Date and Time. Obviously, again, you can name it whatever you want. And we can give it a little bit of a description. And then we're going to hit Next, Next, and Save and New. And then our final one, Last Disposition, this is just a text field. So we can start to capture what disposition was clicked during the dial session. So we're going to choose Text, Next. For length, I'm going to set it to 100, but just so you know, dispositions are limited to 32 characters on the PhoneBurner side. So you probably don't want to do it less than 32 here. And then we're going to go ahead and hit Next, Next. And this time we're just going to click Save because we don't need to create any more custom fields. So now we have these 3 new custom fields: number of calls, last disposition, and last call date and time. So let's jump back over to our properties object. And we can load our all properties list. I'm going to go ahead and pin that so it just pulls up every time. I don't have to load it. And let's change what fields that we're seeing when we're looking at this list. So we got last disposition, last call date and time, and number of calls. Save. Now obviously, to start with, all of these fields are going to be blank because we just created them. And in our next video, I'm going to show you how you can create automation in Salesforce to automatically populate these fields after each call that you make using PhoneBurner. But that's it for this specific training. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and happy dialing.